Deleted scenes can be a treasure trove for film buffs. Even if a scene doesn't necessarily work within the context of a complete movie, it can nevertheless serve as a fun expansion pack of the movie's mythos. Rather, this list focuses on those terrific deleted scenes that by rights should have made the final cut, where they would have added something significant, be it laughs, tension, or crucial character work. I'm Plumpy from Whatculture.com, and here are 10 awesome deleted scenes that should have been restored. Number 10, the Brokeback Mountain rant knocked up. Jonah Hill is watching Brokeback Mountain on TV and complains to Katherine Heigl that there's no graphic gay sex in Brokeback Mountain. The rant goes on for about 3 minutes, and it's nothing short of glorious. It was almost certainly cut because the movie already clocked in at 129 minutes, but it was actually a scene with a point to prove. It hilariously underscores the double standards regarding hetero and gay sex in cinema. Graphic heterosex is far more acceptable to the MPAA, whereas graphic gay sex tends to be slapped with the dreaded NC-17 rating. An actual message in a Judd Apatow movie, and also it's f***ing funny. Number 9, Dudley and Harry shake Deathly Hallows Part 1. It's a scene 6 books in the making as Harry says his goodbyes to the Dursleys and they go into hiding, resulting in Dudley walking over to Harry, offering a handshake and declaring that, unlike his father, he doesn't consider Harry a waste of space. Again, the final cut of the film clocked in at 146 pissing minutes, but damn it, could we not have shaved a few bits of camping off the runtime to fit in an actually poignant moment that provides Dudley with a little bit of redemption and brings Harry's muggle life full circle ahead of Harry's battle with Boulder Chops? It's worth those 2 extra minutes. Number 8, Fifield's alternate mutation, Prometheus. Prometheus was a tricky little sausage with buckets of wasted potential, and this is a plum one. Turns out there was an alternate version of Fifield's mutation where he comes to more closely resemble a xenomorph with an elongated head, superhuman speed, and incredible leaping abilities. Considering how the final cut of Prometheus distanced itself from Alien compared to the original script, it's safe to say that Ridley Scott probably got cold feet about making such a definitive link between humans and xenomorphs, which is a shame because it's much cooler than what actually happened. Number 7, evil is an abstract. Dogma. Dogma is so underrated. Near the end of the movie, Azrael has the heroes kidnapped and explains by way of a delicious monologue that man's refusal to accept its own shortcomings and instead conjure the concept of evil resulted in God creating the suffering pit as hell is now known. Kevin Smith has never officially commented why this excellent speech was cut, but length would make sense. It's a goddamn shame too, because it's possibly the best acted scene in the entire movie and a really nice comment on humanity. More importantly, it makes Azrael decidedly more sympathetic, as you can really identify with the frustration he feels having dealt with the decay of hell for so long. Number 6, Bill versus Michael J. White, Kill Bill Volume 2. During a flashback in Tarantino's underrated Bill Volume 2, the bride and Big Bill Drew Hill are met by a man played by Michael J. White who claims Bill killed his master. Bill effortlessly kills the guy's 4 henchmen before the two engage in a brief sword fight, a fist fight, and another sword duel, resulting in Mr. White getting his throat slit and the bride looking on in, well, that's excitement. Tarantino reportedly killed the scene for pacing reasons, and many fans defend the decision as the scene, complete with White's laughably fake British accent, is definitely a bit silly. However, it would have improved the film to keep it because it provides the most prominent glimpse of Bill in action in either of the 2 movies. All the more crucial given how anticlimactic his final showdown with the bride is. Perhaps it could be trimmed down a bit, but think of the tension it would have created in the final scene knowing that Bill was this badass. Number 5, Stairway to Heaven, Almost Famous. Young William Miller is trying to convince his concerned mother to let him write for Rolling Stone magazine. To argue that rock music is intellectual, he plays her a record of Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven as writer-director Cameron Crowe cuts to the reactions of William, Elaine, and everyone else in the room for the entire song. Though Led Zepp did allow Crowe to use several of their songs, Stairway wasn't one of them, and so the scene couldn't be included in the movie. Instead, Crowe included it as a deleted scene on some home video versions of the film, complete with a cue for viewers to line up their own copy of the song to play in time with the scene. While one could argue that an 8-minute scene of people listening to music is a tad self-indulgent, it's surprisingly powerful, superbly edited, and would no doubt have been immensely discussed and dissected, assuming the studio would have ever actually allowed it to end up in the film. Number 4, Biff disappears, Back to the Future 2. After traveling to 1955 and giving his younger self the cheat codes to the universe, old Biff fades away due to his existence being overwritten by naughty young Biff in the past. It's a really cool scene, though it is a tad disturbing for young viewers. It shows how badly Marty could have suffered in the first movie, plus it also explains why old Biff seems in so much pain after returning to 2015. Oh god, 2015, it was 2 f***ing years ago. Instead, we're left to assume he's having a heart attack, was injured by his cane, or has been worn down by the effects of time travel on the human body, and it doesn't really make sense, and also it's a really cool scene, watch it. Number 3, the courtroom natural-born killers. A survivor of one of Mickey and Mallory Knox's rampages, Grace Mulberry takes a stand and is cross-examined by Mickey. He uses a number of intimidation tactics and ultimately ends up murdering her with a pencil, which he repeatedly stabs into her chest. God, this film. Oliver Stone claims he cut the scene because it pulled Mickey and Mallory back in a more violent direction when their murder of the Native American in the desert is supposed to be a philosophical turning point for the duo. It sucks that it had to go because it's an absolute masterpiece in terms of social commentary, satirizing media violence and courtroom testimony, not to mention Harrelson's really good in it. Number 2, Cap meets the waitress, the Avengers. Steve Rogers sits in his apartment reflecting on the changes that have occurred during his time in the deep freeze, namely the deaths of most of his comrades save for Peggy Carter. He considers calling her, but instead wanders around New York, stops off at a cafe and has a brief chat with a nice waitress before Stanley tells him to ask for her number and then calls him a moron. Thank you, Stanley. It was understandably cut for pace, but it also gives Cap some vital character development and explains why Joss Whedon keeps focusing on the waitress later on in the movie. Without this frame of reference, it just seems a bit weird. Plus, it's great to see Cap drawing a callback to his pre-serum days. And number 1, Alonzo's story, Training Day. Detective Alonzo Harris tells his training assignment Jake how, as a rookie, he once came across a criminal who paid a black man to beat his dog in order to condition the dog to hate black people. Alonzo says that when his cop partner simply waved at the criminal, he considered quitting the police force and tells Jake that just when it looks like you've seen it all, sometimes even more twisted stuff will happen. Though some fans could argue it humanizes Alonzo too much and calls into question his later actions, it's a fantastic piece of character development and adds further layers to an already complex piece. Plus, Washington absolutely kills the monologue, though his Best Actor Oscar win regardless proves he ultimately didn't need it. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'm Plumpy from Whatculture.com, and I'll see you soon.